Alright, so today I kind of want to address something that many Utah players struggle with, including myself for that matter, and it's the Acro. So today I'm going to show you guys how you can inflict damage on this thing without getting killed. And a few things I would like to note, before I start explaining things, is in a 1v1 situation it is just extremely tough to get behind it. So I highly recommend that you go for a 2v1 situation. Bring a friend, either somebody that's as experienced as you are, or somebody without experience that's just gonna draw attention to make sure that the Acro turns its back on you. Because the biggest issue with Acro is you can enter it, and then you can ride it. But what clever Acros will do, especially in survival, is they will start crouching, charge up their ambush, and they will dash away from you. And at that point you have a problem, because it is faster than you are. You do not get the same time to charge up your ambush, because if you were to go into the crouch animation while it is crouching and turning, you will get sniped if it keeps turning. It's just really hard to do. It can be done, but it's just extremely difficult, and I don't recommend it. So yeah, always bring a friend to the party, so to speak. Alright, let's try to explain a few things. For starters, this ride is very precise, and there are a few things you absolutely have to get right. As you can see, when I'm behind it, so to speak, I'm taking a really wide turn. Then as soon as I get to the leg, I'm kind of trying to wind myself in to get those hits landing. And if it brake checks, I'm trying to numb the left leg. It's really important that you do not go inside of the right one, because when the Acro stands still, as you can see on the footage, the right leg will be further up front, and the Acro can actually hit you there. I'll show an example. I'll just skip ahead. Alright, here's a clip where I'm going up against another Acro, and I'm trying to let him stand still and bite for me to see if he can get me. But this is actually safe on 99% of the Acros. But there is this little small 1% of players that know how to bite a little bit further back. I don't know how it's done. It could also have been desync while it happened to me, but I got hit in this exact spot. So that's even how far they can get back. So yeah, he is unable to do it. He's also not an Acro main or an Acro player probably. And what I kind of recommend is that you put your limit right here, where you're kind of at the edge of the back of the left leg. If you get in a brake check situation, this is where you want to apply those hits. And then you can just run back like that. Once again, I take my turns really wide. And what you essentially want to watch out for is that you do not run too far, because if the Acro decides hey, I'm gonna turn to the right, it's gonna catch you if you overshoot. So you kind of want to run until here, what I'm doing, even a little bit further back, because as you see, I got a little bit too deep in there, had to make a correction, got me killed. There's no forgiveness on the Acro. If you fuck up, you die. Alright. Trying it again, with a little bit of a warm-up under my belt. And as you can see, at the back, I pass really wide, as if there's an invisible giant ball behind his legs. Try to picture that and turn around it. And then when you get to the legs, you kind of want to get close. The thing that's really important is your angle. When I'm running behind it, I'm so sideways that the Acro can snipe me. But as soon as I pull up on it on its right flank, my angle is kind of the same as the Acro's angle, so he cannot really snipe you there. Also, don't try to bite the right leg. What I try to do is I try to bite behind the right leg while looking to the left. Keeping your camera to the left is a huge help in this one, because right in front of you is where your snipe's at. It's 3 blocks out, or 3.5 according to some people, and you just want to keep an eye on that, kind of on that spot, you know, like that's right in front of you there, and you want to keep that out of its mouth. When it does a right turn, you kind of want to go inwards. You want to turn around like this, like around that right leg. Do not dive into it, but go around it. And as you can see, that's what's keeping me alive, because if I would go for a direct dive, it would get me. You can also stand underneath the tail in a 90-degree angle when you're really close to the legs, because as the Acro bites down, its mouth is kind of sweeping the floor, as you can see. It's not really hitting the stuff that's in mid-air like your snipe spot. So that's surprisingly enough safe until it starts moving. That's when you don't want to be there anymore. And even though you can stand there in a 90-degree, I highly recommend that you go diagonal underneath that tail. So here, once again, wide around it. And as soon as I get close, I'll try to go in. This is the 8-style recovery technique that I'll show you in a second. That's also another way to ride it, like the alternative ride. It's a style that I came up with myself. But it is so much more precise and so much more dangerous. And as you can see, like, I've already landed my 15 bites. If this was a survival session, he would have been dead, because I would disengage and I would bleed him out. Do not go for bite force in survival. It is like very impressive, but I would not do it. I strongly advise against it. Here I end up overshooting, so I go for the 8-star recovery, and I realize that I cannot go back in. At this point he is pissed, because he is like, I hate you and I'm not dying to you, but yeah, unfortunately he is. If this was survival, that Acro. Of course, I'm sporty, so I'm like, you know what, as soon as you give me a chance, I'll try to enter you. And it gives me a good opportunity to like show you why you don't want to enter Acros at all. Like, it's the most difficult thing ever. Oh man, it's fuming. It really wants me. Alright, here I go for the entry. And I fuck it up. I fuck it up. So good for him. He didn't die to me, so he can keep some face, even though, you know, he would have been killed in a survival situation. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Like, you can actually be 90 degrees underneath the tail. My snipe spot is in front of the legs, which is technically speaking within the hit range of the Acro. But he cannot hit it, because the Acro moves kind of over the floor with its bites. Like, I don't know what he's doing here, because now my snipe is behind his legs, and that just doesn't work. And essentially, my point is that if he's standing still, you can pass here freely. The only issue is that if you approach like from the outside and try to get underneath the tail, then for a brief moment your snipe spot will be next to him. And he will be able to bite to the left and just get it like that. But if you are really close and you're standing here, you are fine. he's trying to say like, well, it's nice that you can stand there, but you can't hit shit. That's very true, but that's not the point. Because the only usage this has is that you can freely move back to the right side, kind of. Just remember what I said, like, if the Acro is moving, that's when it gets dangerous. But in a standstill situation, you can pretty much just stand there. Salty. Alright, let's move on to the 8 style. Alright, this one is a little bit more difficult. And I somewhat recommend that you use this as a recovery for if you overshoot on the normal ride, kind of combining them. As you can see, very easy to make a mistake. Just as the other ride, you want to go around pretty wide. And you want to pass the tail like backwards diagonal. And as soon as you get on the other side of the tail, so not below the tail, never do it below the tail, you kind of want to turn back in, bite the right leg, go for that left leg for the second hit, and then you go outwards a little bit to create space, and then you want to turn back in to the right. So right leg, left leg, outwards, back in, just like that. Right leg, left leg, space, back in, turn, past the tail. It's quite chill to do this one, and as you can see, like, it's absolutely shredding the Acro because you're constantly hitting it, and it's just so much faster than the original style. As you can see, I'm kind of making an H shape. It's very easy to die on the left leg when you're making that little maneuver back in. And that is due to two things. The first one, which is a pitfall that many will fall into because it defies all logic, is if you turn behind the leg, you will get hit. Because what essentially happens is your snipe spot will be in the range of the Acro mouth and you will get it. However, if you create that little bit of space and then kind of go further, like in front of the leg, and then turn backwards, it puts your snipe spot just that little bit further out and he can't reach it. Alright, so what I'm talking about here is when you kind of make that turn around here, try to come out. What you then want to do is bite this leg, you want to go out a little bit, and then you want to go for the turn. Now there are a few things that are important here, and one of those is that your head does not enter the leg. That's why we make the space to begin with, right? So you kind of want to make sure that your head doesn't pass this line, or like in this case, this didn't kill me. I would optimally say like around here-ish. Don't get past there. And because I pass here instead of here, that means that my snipe is a bit too far out for the Acro to get. Well, if my Utah would be here, then that snipe would be here, and if he bites down while I turn, he gets it. But here I can kind of swing it around, because as he bites, his mouth kind of goes down, Don't mention my paint skills, but he misses the snipe because you're so far in the front here. So yeah, I recommend that you give it a little shot, try out to kill some Acros with this style if you think it's cool to do it. And before you know it, with a little practice, you will be able to easily kill some acros and get yourself some, hamburger with legs, as I love to call it. Thanks for watching. If you have questions, just leave a comment or DM me if you are in my Discord, and I will be more than happy to answer or assist with anything. Just feel free. Alright, well, that would be it for today, and thanks for watching.